of, it's the day after the 11/11 portal has opened. And so a couple days before, I wasn't like paying attention to the like I heard about it, the 11/11 portal. And it's like a couple days before, I believe, the day before the 11/11, I called my son and I asked him a simple question. It was like I was in some kind of weird energy, but I still wanted to check on my son if he was okay. Because usually I can feel when he's going through something and might be struggling with something. But it was like a different kind of energy. It was like a clarity kind of energy, right? So I called my son and just asking the usual. You need anything? Is everything okay? Are you eating well? Working out, stretching? Typical stuff that I usually ask in conversations, right? And so it's very very straightforward. So it's like and he's funny as well. So it's just like you never know what comes out, right? But then again, it's going to be coming from, it's going to be true. It's going to be coming from a real place. Now, I was asking, I was like, you don't need me for anything, right? And he said no. And I was like, that's the best answer ever. Because I'm like, so I know if he calls me or if he comes back around or whatever, he lives life as he lives it, because he's like me. I kind of just disappear. I don't really call too much apart from my child. It's not many people I'm just like, just the initiator with, because I'm off somewhere doing my own thing, chilling, enjoying, or just simply enjoying my own energy. And this actually, and the second question I asked, and I was already starting to tear up. The second question I asked was, are you happy? Because at the end of the day, that's what's important. Like, good or bad, I'm rooting for him. And I know he's strong. He's gonna come out of anything he was out of, because there was some things that I was detecting in his energy and like his voice and everything like that things had been rocky for him. So it's just like just double checking to make sure that that's what that energy was. And he was happy. He sounded happy. And his words were, would be considered to be a little cutthroat, but it was just tears of joy. I was like, he doesn't need me. He's happy. Like, that's like the best thing ever. Like, I wasn't heartbroken. I was just like, I'm just really happy to hear that. Yeah, and it's just like, I know that he's not out entertaining like trash energy, entertaining like group thinking to get out and do some BS. I know he does have people around him, and he does know how to cut people off, and permanent, like just like me. It's just like we're, and I know now that if he comes back, it's either really a problem or he just really wants to be there. So it's not like just survival, maybe even if he needs to be there just to feel a home in my energy, right? I know why he's not in any true trouble, if that makes sense. It's like it's nothing that is too dire. At least that's what I'm hopeful of. And yeah, so like at the end of the day, if you're not hurting anybody, you're okay, you're not needing anybody, you're happy, all will work out. I mean, it sounds obvious, but sometimes you just need to hear it again, and sometimes you need to say it for yourself. And there's totally nothing wrong with that. So yeah, like since he told me, yes, that he was happy, and that he did, he's like, I don't need you for anything, because it's just like, that's just the direct communication we have. It's just like, it's not like a bunch of dancing around and picking daisies. It's just like, it's just very straightforward communication, and like, of course, there's me, like, when I feel his spirits are down, like things that moms do, right? And things you do, we do the same thing. It's kind of collective are like the mothers and fathers of the broken, and that's why, we feel like home to so many people. That's why a lot of us, we get people's like life stories and everything like that, like unwarranted, we don't have to, dig or pry. We might ask a question or two, and get, but that's kind of what happens. And it's like we're great like secret holders and storytellers, right? It's just like we don't have secrets, we just keep them. It's just like there's some things, like there are people in my life trying to destroy me, and I could have really like went for, I said what I needed to say, but I, further than that, it was just like, okay, well, drop it. And it could have been a lot worse. Like everything could always be a lot worse, and that's what people have a tendency to forget while they're being just ungrateful for the simple things in life. The beautiful things in life are the simple things, and the simplest things and the most beautiful things in life really are free, but they always try to put a tag on it, some kind of price on it, energetically or physically. And it's just like trying to drag down the frequency of it so those who do not, because those who do not know how to heal themselves always need the physical, the things you can see, hear, touch, taste, smell. Of course, we all need, nutrition, the physical, need, our vitamins and minerals and things like that. And, the nurture aspect of it though, because it's like some things we do on the physical, sometimes we feel like it's for the nurture aspect, and it's really something else because we're hanging on to something too tightly. Like, be it something from the past, it usually is though. It's usually something from the past, some form of guilt, and it's just like, and you're not that person anymore. That is your past. It's your history and your past, right? And your history can be your past if history keeps repeating itself. And that's I think that's as simply put as I can, as I can make it. And I was just like kind of in my head yesterday, to the point I couldn't even, I could barely hold pads, or I couldn't get the combos. I was just like, totally, I just finished a workout and like trying to get back onto who I am, what I love doing, and that's the type of stuff I love doing. I love and I was fasting. So I love pushing my body to these limits, and I know I can get back to it. And it's just, and then on top of being in my head, because usually if I'm fasting, my focus is just like, boom, zoomed in. But it was just something that was just disturbing my focus. It was something I was holding on to. And, I got it right when I just forget it, let it go. It's some background noise or whatever, or some, that's like, that static in the back of your mind that, how you have like a station that's trying to play, and then you have the static that's coming through from the background from another station, from a channel that isn't even there anymore. It doesn't exist on this timeline. Maybe in the future, it'll resurface as something, new and exciting and innovative or whatever, or and maybe exist on a frequency that was loud and clear before, but now it's just static and something trying to get through. And that's the collective, the timeline we switch when we walk through that portal, right? Because I felt it like I was like, planning on praying and everything, and I just went on about my day, and I actually like took time to just sit down somewhere, because I'm like, I don't know what you call a person who's not a gossip, but they're always busy. I mean, I'm a workaholic, so it's just like having 2 days off in a row, it's like, whoa. I'm usually like, okay, gonna go do something, gonna go like play soccer or something, or gonna go for a run. It's just like, no, just sit down. And plus, I've been dealing with a back injury, so I just rested. And I was guided to rest. I was guided to do a video, and lo and behold, like that back pain I was having yesterday, I went to the chiropractor, and it kind of worked itself out, and I started stretching, and started working it out. I was still in motion, and just rested it and drank plenty of water, because when you drink water, that actually, loosens up the muscles, so to speak, and makes them, not brittle, not rigid and more what's the word I'm looking for? Not impervious. Well, yeah, the opposite of impervious, whatever that is. It more able to move, more mobile, and everything. So, when you have an injury, it's not good to just become stagnant. Because I got it from deadlifting. It's just like it was that I was doing too much in the lower back region, vertical sit-ups. I was doing like the hip thrust. I was doing deadlifts and then squats and then the leg press, and that all requires a range of motion depending on what your range of motion is. And I was like, going lower than I normally go, and that was strain on my lower back, and then boom, finally it was that. And then I tried to work out on it some more, kind of try to ego through it, and I was just like, no, I'm doing more damage here, so I'm just gonna go home. It's kind of like it's just holding on to the fact that I need to be where I was. I need to get back to where I was as far as like my physical fitness, my my beastliness, so to speak, right? And trying to also add more on top of that. So that was that was another thing. And then I was doing weighted pull-ups and dips and all kinds. I was just in there because when I first had my son, while he was napping and stuff through the day, I'd be in the gym like 4 hours a day, to put him in daycare. Well, have him in daycare next door, and he'd be in the gym while I was working out. Well, he'd be in a daycare in the gym while I was working out, and things like, because I do have 24-hour fitnesses that have, or different types of brands of gyms. If that's not your brand, then okay. But yeah, different brands of gyms that you can bring your kid, and they have a little daycare. It might cost a little extra, but your physical health is worth it. It like de-stresses and everything like that. It's very beneficial, to spring for that little extra bit of money, and then you get time. And I was kind of like trying to wait until he was like 11, because I think that's the age that you can get into the gym, supervised, of course, and start working out. So I was kind of looking forward to that, but that didn't happen. Maybe sometime in the future. So how, and like I guess my workout journey too shows how different things were shed, because I'll go there. When I was doing weights only, my leg press was like 1080, right? And that was just like, and I was 188 pounds at that point, working in a steakhouse restaurant, 4 stars. So the food was kicking, it was smacking. So it was like, that's how I gained my weight. It's like lots of steak and lots of weights. I had no cardio in there. I had a cardio, started running, mind you, I'm 188 pounds solid muscle as a female. So my cardio, when I started the bike, I started the vertical elliptical and the elliptical itself, and the treadmill. That would be my morning thing, just hella cardio. Dropped down to like 160, right? Started martial arts, and like then I started running trails instead of the treadmill, because the treadmill was just like a no for me. It's just, I don't know, it's something about it. There's a disconnect between me and the treadmill. It's just like, okay, so when I ran outside when I could, like once a week or whatever, and yeah, it kicked down. And then like things about my diet changes. Once you hit it takes 2 months to develop a habit, right? And once you hit a certain level of fitness, you no longer desire certain things. So this is like spiritual fitness as well. Some certain things you no longer desire. And I've been like listening to a reader saying anything before the night, get rid of anything like it when at 8:35 on November 19th, things go into Aquarius, right, directly into Aquarius, and for the next 20 years that will be a part of your life. So anything you're working on right now that you are passionate about, anything you enjoy, do that, right? And I was like, I'm still unaware of the moon cycles and everything like that. Just as they come and go, right? Just make my adjustments. And anything you don't want in your life before that time, before the 19th, work on the discipline of cutting it out. If that's something you want to quit, it's not like a New Year's resolution or anything. It's just like, I don't want this. Just discipline yourself, and until the 19th. And that doesn't mean like, start drinking or start smoking or whatever immediately after that. So I've been, I'm not like drinking isn't a habit for me. It's just kind of like, an occasional, like, I'm off today and I'm like, just gonna sit around all day. It's never been like something I had to do, but I do enjoy it. But that, I'm guessing after, or from what I understand, maybe after the 19th, that maybe it's not wanted anymore. But sometimes your body is just that in sync with the universe, right? When you reach a certain level of spirituality. So I started martial arts, and I like I always wanted, because I was never afraid of it. Just like I couldn't afford it. I was like, hey, I'm spending all this money on these gym equipment, because I bought equipment for like when I had a brick and mortar type home situation, so I had all my workout equipment. I started working out at home doing calisthenics, stopped paying for the gym membership, because I wasn't homeless anymore, so I didn't need to go to the gym, and mind you, to shower, and mind you, that would be all the more reason for me to work out, because it's like, hey, it's like I had to earn everything. I had to earn the shower, I had to earn, the way at the gym and everything like that. And it was like I was holding on to the ideal that I had to earn my own healing, and in a way you do, but that's a hell of a way to look at it. Turn it towards the sun. And so started martial arts. I started in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I started them both like roughly the same time, Muay Thai, and then it's kind of like the setup was so like immaculate, right? I went into this class, I went into one school first, and then it's just come to find out it was like kind of, I don't know, like I liked the place, but there was like certain energies there that was just like, no, it was a no for me. And it was like a start, like I told someone something, and it just like, it got like spread like wildfire. And just like, it was pure sarcasm with the person I told. Like I might have told 1 to 3 people, so it had to be between them that it spread like wildfire, right? And then that rumor even got back to the school. It's just like, I was like, I fought in the streets, but like they took it as like, oh, she's a street fighter. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, that had to have been intentional, because how can you be that fucking stupid? But anyways, so it's just like I started getting the energy. I was like, nah, skirt that, and I'm not gonna even like mention that shit anymore, because I didn't bring it up. I just there would be conversations. I was very passionate about, I still am very passionate about martial arts, so it's like I want to have conversations about it, but it's just like I didn't realize how far and in between people were that were actually practitioners, or willing to practice, or not scared to go in there because they think they might look a certain way, and it got me in trouble, just wanting to be, just being passionate about it, and being like kind of a geek, or geeking about it, wanting to talk about it. And especially males, like these like weak, there were some weak dudes that if I talked about it, so you can kick my ass, and that was always the first. And like as soon as I got that response, it was just like, you know what, bye. Like I checked out mentally before anything else, and I just didn't mention it anymore. And it's like it got me in situations with these weak-minded males, that they were trying to match the energy of a female, and also trying to compete with me. I'm just like, dude, I'm just like, that's just me. I'm not like, then they try to paint me as masculine or whatever. I'm just like, no, I'm just like, I like what I do. That's just the bottom line. It's just like, if I don't like what's going on or what I'm doing, I'm walking away from it. And that's all it is to it for me, walking away. I might stick around and see if I can cut different angles, but if I'm like that shit, you know, sidestep. Hey, you don't have to sidestep, just get sidestepped. You know, so you don't need to step to the side. It's cool. I'm out. You know, I've never been the type of person to try to hang on to stuff. You know, except like there are some things. So then that's also when I realized, like, fast forwarding back to the conversation, or rewinding, fast forwarding, whichever. Going back to the conversation with my son, it's just like I realized I was hanging on to him too tightly. You know, it's like he's of age now. You know, either way, I'm rooting for him. But okay, now bringing it back to that. So started martial arts, and I started dropping weight, and it was all like, you know, like started doing calisthenics. I was dropping down to maybe 150, you know, because I was able to keep up the muscle by adding just weights to regular bodyweight workouts, which are, to me, are like better, you know, like after you've built your foundation, just due to the simple fact that it's just natural movement. It's stuff that you do every day. It's like functional muscle, and then martial arts like boosted that times 1,000. So I already had a foundation built, you know, and like taking care of myself, working out and everything like that. And water was definitely, it's always been like my thing. It's like I'm trying to get to some spring water if I can find it, if I'm lucky enough to find spring water. You know, like maybe I'll take a trip out and collect some one day. Not sure where in California, but I'm sure it's like it'll be an easy find, wherever it is. And yeah, dropped to 140, even down all the way down to like almost 130, fasting and training martial arts. So I started fasting, I will say maybe I want to say like 2016, 17. So by then I'd be, I'm trying to think when I even started martial arts. I think I want to say in 2012, somewhere around that arena, if I'm not mistaken. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you know, this was after like all my Dark Night of the Soul, when I was like doing a lot of karmic shit, you know, like to myself, really is more to myself than anybody else. And you know, like I found my ways to heal, right? I found ways to circumvent the toxic energy that had been around me my entire life. It was my therapy. And it's just like, people think that the stuff is expensive. It's for what you're getting for it, it's really not. You know, you get a support group, you get like some therapy, you may even get some clarity, you're getting in shape physically and also learning something. You know, it's like, it is truly a thing of value. You learn discipline, you change as an individual, you become and mature, become different adult versions of yourself, and you mature within the art, you know. And like, especially if you're doing the healing on the outside, because you know there are like some people that get into this, and you know, they get into mastery, and then like maybe something hits, and you know, they become some fucking like a psychopath or something like that. There has been stories. I'm not saying that like martial arts is exempt from, you know, because not everybody's stand-up characters in martial arts, you know, and that's just what it is, you know. But for yourself, if you're there truly for yourself, right, truly for your own betterment, then you don't have to worry about becoming that person, as long as that stays the objective, right? And you know, it's like that's why I was able to kind of just like stay to myself, but also be very engaging when it came to like, you know, the close quarters combat and stuff like that, like jiu-jitsu especially. It's just like, yeah, you don't have a choice. It's, you know, it's like you either smashing or you're getting smashed on. You know, it's nothing like a 200 plus size dude burying his shoulder into your sternum, you know, until you learn how to escape. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of one of those things. You get comfortable with discomfort, and that's what martial arts helps you do, until you are able to maneuver even just simple movement and footwork. You don't have to have a submission. You don't have to strike. You can just make people uncomfortable by not letting them be able to get their feet set in your energy, right? And I'm one of those wiry types of people, you know. I've never, like, I used to be like, you know, like kind of like one of those bull in the china can. I was like, no, I can flow. Like, I have the quicks, I have the wit, I have the you know, the wherewithal, the determination, ability, and everything to maneuver around a whole bunch of stuff. And you know, I've been there. I applied how I lived my life because of everything being so, you know, so dark, so complicated. You know, always moving in the dark, and you know, knowing where all the traps are, right? Because you learn where the traps are, you learn where the stagnation is, you learn where you could possibly get stuck, and you know, get knocked on your ass, right? Because a well-placed jab can knock somebody on their ass, anybody on their ass. You know, that's just simply, it happens. You know, sometimes it's just like you just get caught off guard. It's part of life. It's the thing of getting back up and, you know, learning to not do that shit again, right? Is just part of it. And you know, once I started applying how I was actually living my life, because that was working out in its own way, because it's like I've never had much, but I've always been provided for by the Most High. You know, it's just like I've never been the type to just sit up and pray for a guy. You know, I wanted the healing for myself so that I'd attract the mate that is truly for me. And you know, like, I want to know that whether we get married or not, you know, it's just like I want to know that this is my, you know, my ace spoon. You know, my I don't even know if I feel comfortable saying ride or die anymore. But I guess you can let the connection die if you ain't riding for it, right? Yeah. And so it's like when you become, you know, you attract what your goals are, what you become. Even though, like, there may be some muck in the middle, right? And I guess it's slowed down enough. I can let the windows down. Beautiful. Yeah, without the you know, you're treading through a swamp until, you know, you get to, or a sandbar, until you get to clear waters where you can see anything. And then you can go snorkel a little bit, and then you can scuba dive and, you know, swim with the fishes or whatever. And or you can just sit there and just enjoy the feeling and sensation of the water and everything that it is, everything that it contains, right? Because they call the ground in jiu-jitsu the ocean, right? And they call people sharks, you know, and they might call them fishermen or something like that if they're beginning. But it's all, you know, it's all love at the end of it. But yeah, martial arts is something I have never, like, once I started, I never truly got away from it. Like, if I didn't have access to pay for the class, I would just buy like a, you know, I bought like a whole set of pads or whatever, which I donated to a school, because it's just like I needed to travel lighter than I was, and I knew I wouldn't be needing it for a while, but I needed to shed that. And plus, you know, when I bought it, it was attached to some people, places, and things that I no longer wanted to be a part of my, you know, my current timeline. So, you know, there's that. So, and I have no regrets. You know, everything happened how it happened, this, that, and the third, and now I'm just like on a whole other timeline, just at peace and everything, and learning how to deal with certain things in a more mature manner, and in a better way, in various different ways, and like having these options of how I can best deal with this, or how I can deal with this right now. Because sometimes how you deal with things right now and the options you have to deal with things right now aren't the best, but it's for the lesson. It's all for the lesson. And you know, like, I have no resentment. It's after all people have like tried to do, you know, in spite of that, I don't hold any resentment. They just, you know, I just can't be around them in that energy. You know, that's just that's why the separation was needed. As I look at, like, 2 calves and 3 cows. It's awesome. Walking across the mountains, right? Because they were where they were in their journey, I was where I was in my journey, and we all were where we were individually in our journey. Yeah, there's just no hard feelings. I'm not, like, I call people out, people call me out, and it got set. It either got settled on the mat when I was there in the presence, or it did not. Or it got handled wherever it was, or it did not. And I always prided myself on being a very patient person with any given person, place, situation, thing. But people will call me impatient because of how I would detach. It's like me detaching means there's like, it's me also protecting myself, the situation from escalating, and anything else. For the worst. And I don't think people understood that. Of course, I tried as much as I tried to understand how other people felt about me detaching, like, just abruptly, right? Because it's just like, that's me saying I'm not letting this go any further. Like, it's already bad enough. I've already, like, walked away. I've already, like, okay, just backed off from the situation, and now I'm being pursued. Okay, in a negative way, on some vengeful stuff, and there could have been a conversation about it. And I'm not talking about come beat around the bush with me, just get straight, get to the point, but I understand that, though, also, that's not how everyone communicates. And that's what I didn't have patience for, because I'm like, communication to me is precious. It's like, you have an opening to talk to someone and, like, really be your truest self, and, like, you're cloaking. To me, it felt like, the person would be cloaking when they were trying to sugarcoat things, and which I do understand, though, that they were being appeasing to whatever energy they thought they wanted from me. And it was just like, I'm not here to attack anybody, even though, like, my words are a little abrasive and harsh, and, like, just to the point. It's just like, damn, like, why'd she say it like that? To the point I just seem mean, which I get, why I would seem mean, because, like, there are so many illusions cast around words, and instead of people reading energy and, like, knowing people's true intentions, like, my son says some of the same things that his dad would say, and it doesn't mean the same thing, right? So 2 different people can tell you the same thing, but it can mean 2 entirely different things, right? And I know my son's intentions for me have always been, they've been good, they've been good for both, for both sides. He's a good kid. And I have been contemplating some things. I do have more questions to ask him, right? And I'm just in the energy of, like, just the clarity. Whether they give me the clarity or not, I will still have the clarity. And yeah, I guess it's just about that time to fully engage in the timeline I'm on now. That's what it's feeling like. Yeah, that's what it's really, really feeling like. And, I think that's the whole collective. Like, the energy is like, wow, today, like, whoa. Crazy light, crazy clear. I mean, you see this weather, too. And I know it's been raining. The grass is about to get, like, super beautiful green and everything like that. So that's, definitely a bonus, because and it was, I don't know if it's just the season for it, but I did ask for, I was thinking, like, last week or something, a week before, some rain would be nice, because I'm out here. It's kind of like, countryside is not really a rainy type of place. It's a sunny type of place, and maybe a cool breeze type of place, but typically pretty hot. Pretty hot. But this weather right here is even kill for me, because it's like, it's got the right balance of sun, wind, rain, and stuff like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, are you hurting anybody, and are you happy, and are you healing? You know, because there's always going to be something to heal from. You know, because or something in your bloodline that needs to be healed, and you just think the thing is to leave this place, this beautiful place, as healed as possible, and not be the person that's constantly passing around pain, or not able to not transmuting your own pain to the point that you inadvertently pass it around. And I think that's been my struggle. It's just like I would detach because I didn't want to hurt someone else, and in the process I ended up hurting other people, but me staying around them would have hurt me more. So that's a situation to be in. I think that's like the collective story right there. It's like it hurts me more than it hurts you to do this, right? Because had you had that conversation, would they have done right, or would they have found ways to continue crossing your boundaries? So that's what a narcissist does, right? They find ways to keep crossing your boundaries. Like you tell them, oh, I don't like this, and then they find another way to do it, a more creative way to do it. So what's the point of going on that downward spiral with them? And that's why things had to be moved, had to go, and so that the energy could be shifted to where we could be our true entire selves, our true authentic selves, and not be worried about what's behind us, what we left behind, who we left behind, and when we left it behind. Because sometimes it's not the who and what, it's just the when and how we have to leave them behind that causes resentment. And some of these people, unfortunately, they will pass away holding a grudge. And that's really sad to think about, but it's just like some people, they just never get there in the same lifetime as you. And that's just, I think it's really that simple. They just don't get to where they need to be in the same lifetime as you. And I think I'm gonna actually just cut it off there. I don't know what the title's gonna be, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyways, happy 11/12, and love you guys. Take care of yourselves, and drink water, heal yourself. Ask the Most High to help you heal, to order your steps, and co-create better with the universe. Your communication with the universe becomes better. And like a lot of illusions were placed in front of us, like we can't co-create with the universe. We have to have a man in the middle, right? A third party. That's not the case. We can co-create directly with the universe. We just have to learn ourselves. It says know thyself. Not know other people, not know other people's business, and just know thyself. Right? So again, love you guys. Until next video, take care.